today we're going to go over how to attack every single site on the map KAFE. If you guys are interested, the full video for every single map is over on my main channel, which is Garfield's Dock. Okay, now attacking upstairs bar can be pretty chaotic because there's so many tight angles that you need to clear. In terms of the attack, we're just going to explain a quick little CS side over. Now, with CS over, you basically have to work the hatches, work the windows, and try to maneuver your way into CS, and then piano, and then try to take white hall control. So starting off the round, you need something to pop the hatches, of course. That is obvious. You need to work the main wall, so depending on who you're bringing, just open up that wall so you can open up ticket. CS probably will be contested by an enemy of some sort, so you just need to figure out the utility. Brava is sometimes pretty powerful on this site because there's so much type of utility. You'll have a Rooney, you'll have Thorn, etc, etc. So just keep that in mind. But at the start of the round, you guys should be opening the windows here and just pressuring whoever the heck's in here. Now, of course, this is why the drone phase really matters, guys, because you need to see how they're setting up. Because it really depends on what they're bringing for what you need to counter bring. So, for example, a zombie is probably going to be playing here. If they have a Wamai, then you need to basically problem solve that person by using all sorts of different types of utility to burn his Wamai disc and then destroy the Kiba barriers. But say a zombie is even right there, you could counterplay her and go under and play Vert to clear her out. Or you can just spend some time with a DMR just shooting down the zombie barriers, maybe throwing a nade at her, whatever. But basically, once you have ticket open and you have the person cleared, something that I like to do, that if you guys are going to repel self side, which self side's a very strong repel, one, shoot the default camera, but two, have a teammate watching this bottom white window just so you can safely play it and cut off anybody. Because usually enemies are pretty stupid. They'll run down here and try to break it open and kill you. So you can cut off CS and all that good stuff. And once you guys actually repel in and all this, if you guys have the utility for it, you guys should be working for this freezer wall. A thermite is very strong once again. And you just need to have somebody maybe watching white flank. And basically your main objective here, guys, it depends on how much of their utility is up. So you guys have to keep that in mind. Your goal should be trying to plant either, let's say, on the trash bags here, depending on how much space you have since you have the wall open, or planting default, but this can get tricky because of the bar being broken. So just keep that in mind. Your main objective should be trying to finish off in these areas, is basically what I'm trying to say. Now, there is another type of attack on this site, which would be for a cocktail lounge over. Now, if we repel up here on the skylight, how you guys would have to attack this is we're pushing for the A site, which is cocktail lounge. Just keep that in mind. One, you would have to get some people unrepelled here, whether it's a Ying or Nomad, whoever. Just place a claimer on this bottom white window. You can open up this white window to cut off any enemies. You know, if they're trying to flank or they're trying to play the staircase. Open up the window here. Have somebody playing this window. And typically what you want to have is people on the repels, like I just said, and then you want somebody getting in below, like reading side. So we would be trying to take this area. Now, what's good about this site, guys, is you can actually play a tons of vertical play. So you can cut off anybody's rotation, and if they're trying to play tucked on any areas, you can just literally fight them and push them off. And then at the same time, if you have a teammate watching that white window, you should be able to just walk up white stairs and have another cutoff so the enemies are pushed back and they have to force a fight with you. Now, while all of this is happening, you should have somebody rotate skylight or play skylight. And what they can do is they can basically watch freezer door, trash door, CS door. You know, they can swap between these angles. And any of the enemies that's pushing out of these areas, and let's say they're forgetting about skylight, they'll push back. You can just shoot them in the butt. But basically, you would basically, holy hell, I say the same 4 words, man. You would just try to get in here, repel in, and just plant for the window across from you, or Yeah, I would always suggest trying to plant for yourself so you can leave and plant. But typically, that's the two attacks that I would try to be going for. Okay, so Cafe Museum is pretty awkward, not gonna lie, guys. But if I were to have to attack this, here's how I would attack it. I would have a top-down approach. So basically, starting off the round, opening up the hatch. You would work for the red wall. If it's not reinforced and there's feet holes, I would just open it. Typically, enemies will reinforce it, or they might try to like put phantom pressure there. So if you drop, they might be playing it. So just open up that wall. Get somebody on the main windows just to maybe get some information, what these enemies are doing. And you can basically have somebody get a pre-placed cam during the drone phase. And you can just have like a cutoff cam to see if anybody came down brown or came down red. You basically use it for audio. And then this person would walk up red. And depending on the site setup, guys, and if you see maybe possible like a gap of some sort, you might be able to just sledge in or buck in, or even get a Montang and then try to plant. You just got to watch for the vertical play, because if the vertical play is very prevalent on this site, you need to either just try to plant on the hard area or smoke off these areas and just try to get a plant off an off angle. But as you can tell, there's so many different head holes and extensions that we're actually going to be working for a vert clear. So basically get some people in the window like we were attacking above, get some information of where these enemies might be playing, and you just need to basically problem solve until you get a pick. So if there's utility here, you need to figure out what utility you need to clear. Typically when someone's defending upstairs, they'll push back very quickly. So even if you have somebody very early in the round on this AC window, they can get an angle on this white hallway, and you can basically just pinch these enemies out, which is a very good thing. And once you get this cigar control, you can actually make vertical on all of B site and train, which is pretty nice. I'm having a hard time making vert. It's actually very funny. But yeah, you make vert, you try to catch enemies to rotate. While they're rotating, the people that's playing on the windows should be able to fight them. And from here, you just get to the point where you're able to jump in and just try to plant somewhere. Now, if you're worried about pillar, you can also make vertical on pillar as well, guys. Which you would also need to clear like white side to get that area. So for example, you would have to clear all of upstairs up here. But say we get to that point and you're trying to take pillar control, because pillar control is also important. You can make vertical on the door, on where the rotate might be is like right under us. The rotate right here. Even reading door is over here. So, oh, and even dark spot, sorry. Let me show you the dark spot angle where people might tuck. It's right here. So if you get pillar control, it's very strong likelihood that you're probably going to win the round. So if you get somebody in pillar position for, you know, the rotate, you can probably just get somebody to walk in and just try to plant. But it's not very common. A lot of you guys are going to be playing this side of the map at all. Attacking reading can be a little bit difficult for some people, but let's try to simplify this as much as possible. A lot of this map is repelling, which is annoying, but a lot of these angles are great for it. So starting out the round, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go top down. So we're going to be clearing the people that's extended above, and if they're not extended above, then we can just probably take site and make vert. So you open the hatches, you're going to want to drone out all of upstairs. Cutoff cams are very important on this map. So if you're able to use your cutoff cams, then drone out CS, drone out under skylight, just drone out piano, take all of this area control, guys, and just try to clear the people that's playing upstairs. If they're not playing upstairs, then you should be golden. If you get to the point where you get the enemies to fall back from upstairs, then you literally just need to have somebody watching the red flank and watching the white flank. And your main objective here would be making all sorts of vertical of the people that's playing in sight. And usually what's going to happen is that these enemies are going to fall back into this 90 area, and then they're even going to fall back into this pillar area. So while you guys are making vert, you should have teammates outside of this snow window. Basically, they're able to cut off any enemies trying to rotate pillar. You can even have a teammate walk up brown late. So something I would suggest is open up this reception double at the start of the round, or even this dining window, because then late round you can that's phantom pressure and they won't hear you breaking the barricade, and you can basically crouch up and cut off any enemies. And basically your main objective would be having somebody playing vertical and somebody watching the vert holes, and get the person just plant on this bookshelf. Now this bookshelf, I don't even remember if this is bangable. Let's see. I think it is. Yeah, it's bangable, so I think people forget this sometimes and they kind of just panic. Like, I just forgot, so something yeah, this is bangable, so you just gotta watch yourself on this, because yeah, it is bangable, but people typically just try to lob C4s and all that good stuff. But if you have people on vert, you have people on watching you just in general, cutting off the lines of sight, you have somebody pillar area, you can easily get a plant down. Like, it's pretty simple. Okay guys, so let's talk about attacking kitchen. Pretty easy map, side of the map to attack if you do it properly. So I'm just going to start out with making phantom pressure on reception, just so anybody late round can walk through it. But personally, the way I like to push this side of the map is I like to have my teammates push bakery. So you would have somebody start out the round in small, typically like a Nomad or Aurora, and you would air jab off this double door, or you would just, place a door here. And while that's happening, your teammates should be pushing into bakery or opening up bakery barricade at least, and just basically trying to hold for the guys rotate. You basically have to work your util to clear the guy and just communicate what you guys are doing. Typically, you see like a Blackbeard or a Montang pushing for first contact, since there's a lot of angles. But your main purpose is just to clear out all this area and then open up this bakery wall. Now, the role I like to play is someone that makes vertical play, so like a Buck or a Fuse. I don't like really going ram, because I feel like it makes so much noise that it's easy for the enemies to flank, and it just makes so much line of sight area that I have no cover play. So that's why I like to go Fuse. I just go breaching charges, play some Fuse charges, cut off enemies. So literally just make lines of sight. Now at the start of the round, I usually just place like a drone face. Shut up. I place a drone like R90, and I'll just get on it, or get a teammate to get on it and let me know. And if I have a teammate that's playing with me, I get them to bring a hard breach device. We basically just open up all lines of sight. And depending on how the take is going, we of course would open up this hatch. But depending on how the take is going, if my teammates are having a hard time getting inside bakery, if we have to flip the take, I flip it. And you can usually make a play just by dropping this hatch, because you have all the vertical play literally on the window, close by the bomb chassis. And you guys can, of course, make vertical on this soft wall that will cut off the prone angle. Dude, I'm having a hard time getting it. Hold up. The prone angle for, if they're trying to play behind the coffee machine over here. So you can dabble between the two. This one, you can try to cut off the person that's like right outside freezer. But I'm trying to get the angle. You can usually see their toes if they're tucked, and then right here, if they're on the double door, the sight, to even behind the little sinks, you can cut them off. But basically, yeah, you would just get to the point where you're like, okay, that's not working, guys. Let's try to maybe even rotate, take bottom white, or even repel in Fireplace. And you would basically just fight for all this space, and then you can just plant either right here on the chassis or behind the sinks area. Now, there are ways that you can attack it just by playing like white side, which is also typical. So you would basically just get all of VIP control, you would get dining control, you would get reception control, you would get all of this control, and you would just open up white. And then you would have to basically fight the people that's playing red and try to push them back. You do this by having to cut off the person that's co-check. So you can do this a few different ways. Let's say he's in co-check and you have your teammate on the window here. You can just throw a Candela from the hallway here and basically try to get that person to rotate or whatever, and your teammate can 3-2-1 and then just peek it, pre-fire, and then pre-fire again, since, you know, there's a head hole here and there's always going to be a head hole here. And then once they get this area, they can cut off anybody rotating. Just gotta worry about anybody trying to take red. But yeah, those are the two ways I would typically, you know, attack this map. So for the white take, you just open up the freezer walls. You would get all of that control of this side of the map. You can leave the hatch soft. It doesn't. I would not pop it open if you're going for this, unless you have to, because if enemies flank, they can basically cut off your entire take. And then yeah, take that co-control and then try to get a plant down.